In this time of uncertainty, in this time of volatility, in this time of increased constraints, we can't get together. Collaborative leadership's never been more important. How do you build resilient teams?
Extremely important when you're trying to build a resilient team, because in adverse situations especially, you want to be able to have a team that does actually trust each other and feels like each other has their back. Answer to your question, I think all of the personality types can be resilient. It really depends on taking the time to build the team to have the trust and that psychological safety that I talked about across the board. So understanding what are the gifts that you bring, and more importantly, understanding the gifts that others bring to the table by their personality type, their different personality types. And I think through that understanding of those differences, we get a better appreciation for the other people on our team.
Clarity in 3 specific areas. Clarity of our purpose, clarity of our imperative right now. What is it we need to deliver right now? Clarity of connecting to one another. Clarity of the value that each one of us have value, and being intentional about building that community, because as human beings, that gives us meaning. And then number 3, clarity of our values. I mean, you look back in history, and those that have moved through crises, if you look back and you study them, there's clarity in those 3 specific areas.
What are the strengths that I bring? What are the areas that I'm not so great in? And do I have other members of the team that are great in the areas I'm not so great in, and maybe struggle in areas where I'm better in? And that's what builds a really great team that does have, back to that whole psychological safety and trust, all of that. You can see where you can really build off of the strengths and the development areas for each of the personality types.
The teams, to your point, Jeff, it's the teams that have the emotional mox. It's the teams that can actually be more human with each other that are going to be more resilient. Ask your teams a question. Are we demonstrating the emotional labor, the emotional work that's going to demonstrate the resiliency we need to get through this? Yes or no? And then the more important question, what do we need to do to become even more emotionally fit to demonstrate this resiliency?
Leader and say, no, this is what I need to be doing right now. I need to be making those connections, because those connections are more important than ever.
With being a collaborative leader is reminding myself that we're not here for people's comfort, we're here for our fulfillment and getting out of our comfort zones. If I'm, as a leader, prioritizing comfort over fulfillment, then I know that the business is susceptible to suffering from that.
Resiliency isn't built without having opposition, without having problems to overcome. And that's what we're doing. And as we move into this new world, everything that we're pushing through right now, everything that we're learning will catapult us out as just being more effective with our teams.
The whole topic of building that resilient team and making sure that your teams are going to be resilient, because you particularly need that during adversity. Right now, with where we are in the world today, we're dealing with such change at such a rapid pace that we need to have teams that are able to handle that change, be innovative, and be able to say, hey, we're pivoting, we're moving on in this direction, because that's what we need to do right now.